There's a reason some leaders can step up, say almost nothing, and instantly command the room. I've spoken on massive stages and coached hundreds of execs, so I know what actually works under pressure. If you've ever worried about losing your audience in those first few seconds, I'm going to show you 5 C-suite level strategies that will make sure you never do. Let's start with the number one mistake I see leaders making when opening a presentation, and the reason why the room tunes out fast. Most people begin with housekeeping and walking through the agenda, which just tells those listening we're not really starting yet. Now, the big problem is that in any setting, the boardroom, virtual meeting, or on stage, your audience is already swimming with distractions. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. Really excited to be here. Lots to cover. So before we kick off, I'd like to walk you through the agenda. Forgive the busy slide, but you don't really need to read it. By this point, they're bored, your credibility dips, and 30 seconds in, you're close to losing the room. So strategy number 1 is start with a surprise. Do something that grabs their attention and signals that you have begun. So people stop, so people look up and listen. Now, there are loads of ways that you can do this, and which one you choose depends on the audience and the context. It's like ringing a bell at the start of class. Everyone knows it's time to focus. Try a statistic. 82% of customers would recommend us to a friend. A crisp fact. The most popular colour in our range is blue. A provocative statement. In the next 3 years, AI will upend our industry. A striking image. This is the future of space travel. Or even a rhetorical question. What would success look like to you? It doesn't have to be earth-shattering. It just has to send an unmistakable message. I've started, and this matters. This works brilliantly on its own, but pair it with strategy number 2, and your credibility jumps. So many leaders under pressure speed onto the stage, rush the opening, and try and cram all of their points in as quickly as possible. Now, watch Barack Obama, Sheryl Sandberg, Steve Jobs, Brené Brown, Cody Sanchez. They take their time. They slow the room. They're not in a rush. It's like a conductor pausing before the orchestra. The quiet makes everyone lean in and wait for what's coming next. That's strategy number 2. Harness the power of silence. Here's how to use it at the start. Pause before your first words. Take a deep breath. Make eye contact. Survey the audience. When you control time, you control the room. Silence is your friend at the beginning of any talk. Now, it won't feel easy at first. Most CEOs and leaders that I coach really struggle with it. But once it clicks, it's a game changer. And it's worth practicing, especially when you pair it with strategy number 3. Here's the problem. When they find themselves in the spotlight, a lot of leaders make themselves small, so their body language shrinks, and it's quietly telling the room that they're not in control or they'd rather be somewhere else. When I started coaching, I was in my mid-20s, and it showed. In the coffee break during a workshop with a really tough group of C-suite execs, my co-facilitator pulled me aside and he asked, "Do you know what you're doing when the CEO speaks?" I had no idea. I still remember the feedback. You're making yourself small. When the intention's on you, your body language shifts. You look like you're not in control. That was a light bulb moment. Once he pointed it out, I couldn't unsee it. And now I see the same pattern with so many of the leaders that I coach. That's why strategy number 3 is simple but powerful. Take up space. When they start a presentation, the best speakers don't shrink, but they don't dominate the room either, right? There's no jazz hands, no over-the-top performance. It's just about being comfortable in your own skin. So next time you speak, try this. Stand with your feet hip-width apart, weight balanced across both. Open your shoulders and lengthen your spine. Then I'd like you to imagine a piece of string helping your head gently float towards the ceiling. It's those tiny shifts that speak volumes. They tell your audience that you're in control and you mean business. Now you're owning your space. Strategy number 4 will help you own your message. Here's the thing. Being an expert can actually trip you up when you present. Now, it sounds counterintuitive, but it happens all the time. You've lived and breathed the thing that you're talking about, so it's so easy to say too much and basically bury the point. The more you share, the more your audience can feel overloaded. They just get lost and tune out. Look at Steve Jobs in 2007. He launched the iPhone with one unforgettable line: Apple reinvents the phone. Then he built his presentation around 3 big ideas: a phone, an iPod, and an internet communicator, all in one device. No jargon, no complicated graphs, simple and memorable. Since that presentation, Apple have sold over 2.3 billion units. Not bad. So strategy number 4 is say less. Here's what I recommend before your next presentation. Write your headline. Get it down to one clear sentence that captures the promise, then choose 3 big points that prove it and craft the whole thing around that framework. No jargon, no extras, just keep it simple. Less is definitely more. Use the one headline, 3 subheadings framework, and people will lean in with interest instead of leaning out feeling overwhelmed. But if you want your audience not just to remember, but to care what you're saying, there's one more strategy you need to master. Most speakers over-index on the data, but the big risk with that is that nothing sticks. Right? Let me take you back. I've spent over a decade coaching leaders, but before that, I was a professional actor, starring in a Hollywood movie, appearing in period dramas, and treading the boards of the London stage. Every time my agent sent a script, I'd scan it for one thing: the story. Was it compelling? If the answer was no, I passed. Now, when I coach members of the C-suite, I run the same test on every presentation. If you want to become a truly memorable speaker, next time you present, make sure you use strategy number 5, lead with narrative. And it doesn't have to be complicated. My go-to storytelling framework is past, present, future. If you rewind this video, I used it a few seconds ago. Let me take you back, the past. Now, when I coach members of the C-suite, the present. Next time you present, the future. That simple framework makes ideas land. So the next time you prep, don't just list your points. To be a truly memorable speaker, open with a story using past, present, future as the spine. And of course, make sure you're subscribed to my newsletter for more tips and tricks.